Hola, people. So, I'm sure most people on both sides of the fence weren't too surprised to hear that Trump's finally admitting that he did pay back Cohen the $130,000 hush money that Cohen made to Stormy Daniels. So my question is Trump still denying the affair, that it didn't happen, that the money was paid just to silence Stormy? I mean, anyway, that's the latest bombshell that most of us, I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not, or at least if you're, I was not surprised at that. I knew all along that was what's going to happen, okay? I didn't know he could, I just knew all along that I didn't know he'd come out with it. He probably finally came out with it because he knew the truth was going to come out anyway, right? Ew. Dishwasher doesn't seem to be doing very good. I'm not too pleased with these things. Remember, I loved them at first. They seemed so thick, and yet I've been having trouble with them not falling on the floor either, and chipping, okay? The other day one was chipped at the top there, and I didn't know it, and I cut myself on it, so not too pleased with that. Yes, they were cheap, but you know, I'm talking about not dropping on the floor, and they're breaking. There's no reason for that to be happening. So, very annoying. But they were cheap. Remember, they're only $3 each. I don't know. I don't know. Just know it's annoying. I don't know why dishwasher's not getting stuff clean. That's scary. Pugalopolis. Your mama's Pugalopolis, huh? Are your mama's Pugalopolis arms? Your mama's Pugalopolis. 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 I have not been creating videos. I did create videos, but they were dark ones that you have to I have to play while you're watching me, so I'm not doing that right now. Oh, in case you guys don't eat avocados and you watched my other video, this is the size of all avocados I'd ever encountered in my life. You know, I only encountered avocados in my adult life, but not really. I never even ate avocados until I moved in with Donald and Hope in 2001, California. But that one I showed you in that other video, look at the difference. It was like this is probably like 4 times as big. That was just a tiny little thing. So anyway. I wish like I said, I wish all avocados could have that much less pit. I'd never seen that before, ever. Never, ever had I seen something like that. Never, ever, 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 ever. Never, ever, ever, Holmes. Mama, you want some berries? Oh, I want blueberries, honey. Blueberries. A blueberry. Blueberries, bughead. Still haven't been getting my clothes done, but That's because we've had sporadic weather. It hasn't been consistently warm. And if the clothes take more than one day to dry out there and then it pours on them, what's the point, right? What's the point? What's the point?
I weighed myself in Omar the other day, a couple days ago. I lost a couple of pounds, which is nothing. It's just, but I gained, so, you know. It's 194.2, and Omar was 16.6. I'll show you in the room. I'll show you the room is spotless too. Actually, I won't show you them spotless because at this point it cannot, but that's because I just forgot it. Anyway, I wanted to show you this fucking shit. Look at the receipt. See, I straightened up all the boxes like I told you I was going to do. This, if you can read that, maybe you can't, but it says 515.18, Laura 194.2 pounds, and then with Omar in my arms it's 210.8, minus 194.2 is 16.6 pounds. Omar, see? So the baby's weight maintained his weight. He hasn't gained, but he also hasn't lost any weight. So come on, pug dog. Want some blueberries? Come on. Blueberries. Blueberries, pug dog. Blueberries. Blueberries. Boring. All my videos are boring. I don't even know why you like them. Most of them are boring. Most of them are boring, 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 boring. I gotta remember to shut that phone off. Get too many telemarketing calls. I listen to the messages, you know, in case it's important, but I'm sorry, 99% of the time it's telemarketing calls. It's just the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. It's like I use oil and baking soda on these, and still doesn't want to come off. Stickiness. You know, sometimes it comes off so easily. You just don't get it. You just don't get it, That's fine. That one's coming off. Say that one didn't want to. I don't know why. Perhaps I didn't use enough and more there. Still way better than before. I told you I learned about that online, how to get the sticky stuff off jars where the label doesn't come off easily, you know. And there was a tick on me yesterday. That's why they say when you go out, and I didn't go in the woods, but there was a tick on me. Luckily, when I went out to take Omar out, I was all covered up with the socks up, and so it climbed up my leg apparently, but I found it when I lay down on the couch, which is why they say you should check yourself, you know, right when you come home, because once it attaches, it administers into your body something that keeps you from knowing that it's even there. Which is what it has to do to feed on you, what it has to do to feed on you, feed on you. It's what it has to do to feed on you, feed on you, feed on you. For the people. Interesting. I mean, you learn some shit. Let's
some, I think, doesn't make sense. Like, there's a case that almost the last one that I've watched, where this guy apparently was in the apartment while this woman was being murdered by his roommate, but he didn't take part in the murder. There was none of his DNA anywhere on the body, on her, on whatever. And the guy on For the People said he wanted to go after this guy because he's a jerk, and he believes he was implicit in it. And they figured out that he turned up his music. They went after him for something just to put him in jail for a little bit and, you know, get him off his high horse where he gets away with probably being implicit. That's pretty sad. You're not expected to get involved. So I did learn stuff from the show. You're not expected to get involved if someone's being killed or anything. But you'd think if you're in the apartment, you know, that you can't just sit back and do nothing. But apparently you can. But you can't help at all. But you don't have to be involved and report it if someone's being killed, tortured around you. Apparently not. I know in the outside world, in public, but in your own apartment? I don't understand that one, but in any case, something that he came up with, some old thing in the books, and they figured out that they asked what time of death it was because he had turned up his music real loud. He was found guilty on the show, but they're saying he turned up his music really loud so his roommate could continue killing the woman, and nobody would hear her scream. Yet they had said she was nearly dead by the time the guy killed her. See, so that's not really making sense, because wouldn't she have been screaming? She'd have to be gagged, or she'd be screaming the entire time she was tortured. So that made no sense. But other things made sense, where these people wind up in prison for misappropriate, you know, the terms of prison are misappropriate to the crime. Like this guy transferred as a courier to make some money, but he says he didn't know what was in the package, and you believe him, but because he had 2 priors and didn't serve any jail time, one was for something stupid like I don't know, running, just anything, but it doesn't matter. He fell under the thing because it wound up being 57 grams of meth. If 50, it wouldn't happen, but he gets a mandatory 10-year sentence, and the judge didn't want to do it, but he had to because he could see that he's getting the same sentence as if he had trafficked a child. So it's ridiculous, but it's the law, and the prosecutors on there, they're like, it's the law. We have, you know, you got to follow the law, even though people slip through the cracks. Because this was a guy who you believe that he wasn't selling. He was simply a courier, and he didn't know what was in the package, and then he got caught. You know, so you know, and he went up doing this. But so you learn something about that. I learned some shit, but some is like that one that misprisoned by felony, whatever that is. You're talking about he's a horrible, obviously he's immoral, and afterwards they said, did you feel bad for the woman? And he's like, no, I didn't know her. I feel bad that I won't get to see my roommate anymore, because the roommate confessed to the crime. And this guy, the prosecutor, that he wanted to go after this cocky fucking asshole because he imagined that the woman was there, helpless, and the guy does nothing while she's being raped and tortured and murdered brutally and right in the apartment. You know what I mean? So, but they found him guilty, but the premise was that the jerk turned up the music, which would help drown out the woman's screams, but that doesn't make sense. She would have been screaming the entire time. You know what I mean? She wouldn't just be screaming at her time of death. So that didn't make sense at all. I don't know. Just something to watch anyway. It's interesting enough, I suppose. I assume those shows are even medical. I mean, I'm assuming they're somewhat accurate, but I don't think they're entirely accurate. I would know, though, because I know that some of it is probably true, just like on the medical shows, you know. But I think some is probably not true. And the only person that would know that are people that are actually in those fields, and they could say, yeah, those are accurate depictions of what we go through and what we do, or they're not, you know. I wouldn't know because I'm not in those fields. So, anyway. But I know it's got to be a fairly accurate depiction of that world, you know. So it's kind of interesting. Kept my attention anyway, because the characters are interesting. I thought I recognized that woman, one of them, the characters, and then I didn't recognize, and then I realized it's Britt Robertson. It's the one who was in one of those Nicholas Sparks movies. I think the one where she meets a cowboy and he wants to do the rodeo, but it's dangerous. She's, of course, worried about him all the time. I think that's her. Pretty sure. When I recognize the name, I'm like, oh yeah. Soak these jars some more, I guess. It didn't come off. Just put more of this shit on. See, that's what I learned, to put the baking soda and the oil. Cheap oil. No, they only have, I forget why I have it, but I didn't buy it. I think my mother bought it at some point. She was going to bake something or something. I don't know. And she unfortunately wound up in the hospital. So. What else is new? What else is new? Oh, my Lord. What else is new? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, these jars just don't, the label doesn't want to come off. Some labels come off so easily. It's wonderful. Not this one. Not this particular brand of salsa. Bitch to get it on. It doesn't want to come off. Ever. All kinds of horrible, interesting things going on in the world. As usual. I don't even know why I keep this. The top to that. My glass baking pan. I don't ever use that plastic top. I should just throw it away. Taking up space and never use the top of it. Because I would never store anything I've cooked in that glass thing I would never put the plastic top on. I should just throw it away. There's someone who would take this to a party or something. It's gotten all gross. I think I will throw it away. I'm not going to use it. even if it's not entirely accurate, I know that it's fairly accurate, you know what I mean? It's not totally not accurate. These shows that depict, you know, the medical shows, like The Good Doctor, Grey's Anatomy, or the law shows, this new show For the People. And it's pretty interesting. On a nice day out, all cloudy, all cloudy. I have a few stragglers of plastic dishes that I've given most of them away to my mom. Whenever I go there and make her delicious meals that she loves. I love that she's eating healthy and enjoying it, and I know damn well she wouldn't be making these meals on her own. That's just how it goes. She wouldn't be doing it. I know that for a fact. I know that for a fact. I know it for a fact. Maybe I can't fit this anywhere. Apparently not. Alright, forget it. It's full as it's gonna get. La 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 la. It's got all bent. I say we throw it away, right? Don't use it anyway. It's broken. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, American pie. Little bowl of green and die. The other video that I haven't uploaded yet, the dog video, and I have to play it and sit there in the room. lamp somewhere, but did not find my mama's notebook. Didn't find it. Tried though. I tried, baby. I tried. And then I looked everywhere in her place and through all my papers, even though I knew it wasn't in with my papers. I made sure of it. I was hoping I'd get it from her. You know, I was just hoping. You know, I was hoping she overlooked it somehow. I looked through all her magazines, all her stuff she cut out of the magazines. Something, as I told you in the other video, she's allowed to do now that she's not under her sister's control and thumb. I told you in the other video that I didn't upload. It soothes her. It's harmless. It soothes her to cut those ads out of the, or rip them out of the magazines. And then she doesn't save it all because she does save it, but then she throws it away because it would eventually clutter up her whole place. Keep it too long. Nothing wrong with that. Too much crap. That's all. Too much crap. It's not rocket science. Too much crap. As you guys know, it's not my crap. It ain't my crap, baby. Slowly getting rid of it. Slowly getting rid of it. Nothing fell under there, nothing I can see anywhere. Nothing fell under there, nothing I can see anywhere. Oh, see? Have to be proactive. This is getting stuck for some reason. You should be able to wash this spoon, even though they're bigger, in this dishwasher and have them not get stuck. And you're getting stuck. Why is that? I don't know. Good question. It's too tall for the top? That's ridiculous. Oh no, here we go. I said to rear. That's called being proactive. Okay. Making sure shit. My mom wouldn't think to do, unfortunately. That's why she ruined that other dishwasher with identical to this one. That time she ruined it because she kept not paying attention and throwing things in there and they were all going underneath and she doesn't think to check. Particularly when she's sick, but she doesn't really think to check regardless. I want to be truthful and blunt here. I don't want to ruin this dishwasher, so I'm very anal about it. I make sure there's nothing that is falling underneath. I make sure now that that pan got caught that time, I make sure nothing's going to stick when I close it too. Get caught on the top rungs or something, I don't know. Whatever just happened with the big spoons, plastic utensils. Alright. Wasn't that exciting? Not. Bye-bye.